Afternoon, Sarah here, aka the Business Fixer. I'm using a new piece of software today. I don't know how good the quality is going to be. I hope it will be better than what has been coming up recently. So please give me some feedback. That would be much appreciated. So let's talk mental health. I think this is a really prevalent topic right now. I think it was last week where we had World Mental Health Day, but last night, just before I went to sleep, I started seeing posts coming out on social media about the sad passing of Liam Payne, who was once in One Direction, was with Cheryl, has a baby boy, and he's only 31 years old. And whilst at this moment in time it's not clear as to the kind of consequence, what caused the death, whether it was suicide or drug overdose or whatever it could be, all we know is he fell off a balcony. And I think this really actually struck me, and it really affected me more than I thought, because obviously I don't know him. He's just a celebrity, but I think the key thing with him is he's so young, and there've been over the years a number of very young people. You've got Caroline Flack, you've got a couple of people who have been on Love Island, you have got obviously now Liam, and there's just like a whole stream of people that are young who've had their whole life ahead of them and they're now gone. And I just think it's sad and it's scary how even the people who have got lots of money, who have got potential access to resources to help them, that yet even they're struggling. And I think there are many people out there, both men and women, who struggle with mental health. There are, for most of us, very limited resources. And I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my story. Now, some of you may already know that back in 2020, I had a mental breakdown. The mental breakdown was caused by the legal profession, which, as most of you know, I used to be a lawyer. I ran my own law firm. And I went through quite an ordeal where I was investigated for mistakes that I had made. And I had openly held my hands up right from the get-go, because I knew that there were things that hadn't gone quite how they should have. It wasn't an intentional thing. Part of it due to the software in which I was using at the time, and even the investigator told me things like the debit and credit were the wrong way around. No wonder you got yourself confused. But that didn't stop the investigation, and it didn't stop them literally gunning for me, and that's the only way I could possibly describe it. And it was a big reason, the main reason why my marriage collapsed, because I was still at that point trying to fight for what I believed was my dream, which was to keep the law firm alive. And I came at the end of the investigation. I had to deal with a 5-day tribunal, and I came out the end of it, and the thing that I was really fighting for was the fact that they were questioning my honesty. And that was a big thing, because everybody used to come to me on ethics, because I am so straight down the line, it's unreal. I am very transparent, I'm very honest. That's just the way that I am. So to be questioned in terms of my honesty truly broke me. And I won on that point, and I was told that I could continue to practice as a lawyer, I could continue to run the law firm. But I had been so broken by the whole process, where I was literally being treated like a criminal. There's no other way I could describe it. I was being treated like a criminal. And I had just simply made some mistakes where I was doing everything I could to rectify, everything that I could to learn and be better. And yet it wasn't enough. And I then took the decision, in August 2020, walk away from the legal profession entirely and to try and spend some time putting myself back together again. And of course, those of you that know me well knew that in September 2020 was when Sky passed away. And if you've ever heard me talk about Sky, Sky was my last dog. She was literally my entire world. I took her to the States on holiday with me. She was with me all of the time. She was there when I had the law firm. She'd be in the office every day. She was literally my child. So when she passed, she was what was getting me through day to day. So when she passed, it literally was like, what am I going to do? And I knew for my mental health that if I did nothing at that point, I wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. And that's why I took the decision to adopt Fitz. So Fitz you can see on my videos now. And I adopted him because I knew that if I had that responsibility, I know that I wouldn't be able to abandon another dog. I couldn't do it. I'm not somebody who can abandon a dog. That's reason why Scott kept me alive for so long, was because I had her and I couldn't abandon her. So within 10 days of her passing, I got another dog, which is quite a quick period of time. But I knew that if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. It was as simple as that. And I literally just tried to put one step in front of the other. Unfortunately, my regulatory body at that point was still gunning for me in terms of shutting down the law firm, because I'd done what I had to do, the club fully aware, but there were other admin bits that needed to be done. And this is a true story. In January 2021, I was under so much pressure that I remember having a phone call, and I turned around and said to the regulatory body, I said, if you do not leave me alone, you are going to end up with a dead solicitor on your hands. Not long after that call ended, I had a knock at the door, and it was the police. The police turned up to do a welfare check on me because the regulatory body had called them. Now, to some that might, they were, caring. To me, it wasn't. They didn't care. They were covering their backsides because of what I'd said. And the sad thing is there are so many lawyers that I know who have left the legal profession as a result of a breakdown caused by whether it's the regulatory body themselves, whether it's pressure of the job, or whatever it is. And the reason why I'm sharing this is even the strongest of people, and I would say prior to all of that, I was a pretty strong person. I had been through a lot even up until that point. I was bullied pretty much most of my way through my school life. I have always been an outsider, where I've never really felt like I fitted in. And I just literally, whatever life threw at me, I just kept going. But this was where I had a 12-month period where obviously I had the investigation, my marriage ended, had to move home. I had to go through the tribunal process. My husband, and now ex-husband, divorced me. The Sky passed away, all within a 12-month period. Now, if that doesn't test you, I don't know what would. And it did test me. And I tell you what, I came out the other side, and it's taken me genuinely years to be the person that I am sitting in front of you. And I have really had to put myself back together again as a result of that. Now, I'm fortunate because I'm one of those people that have survived. And there are many people that are out there right now that are on that brink, on that step, on that decision of, I don't know whether I want to be here anymore. And whether that was what was on Liam's mind, I don't know. It's not clear at this point. Like I said, I'm not saying it necessarily was, but I do know from what the media have said that he has had mental health issues. But I think this really is an important message that needs to be put out there, that the strongest of us and people you think from social media, from the outside, who appear incredibly strong and incredibly resilient. They are battling things that you do not know about, that are not always evident on the surface. And I think this comes back to the message of be kind. Be there for people. Don't judge others, because you do not know what they are going through at that moment in time. I have now built a very solid circle around me. I do not have a big circle, and that is by choice. The people who I know who are around me, people who I know 100% have my back, genuinely care about me, and they will support me in the same way as the people I will do exactly that in return. And I think it's so important that it's often in your darkest of times that you actually realize the people who you can truly rely on and who are truly there for you. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the people that you expect, and it is a very small amount of people. So reflect on those who you think that if you were in trouble right now and you had to pick up the phone to somebody, how many of those people do you think would, 1, pick up the phone, and 2, actually be there? Because I think it's so much better to have a small group of people around you who you know you can rely on, than to appear popular and seem like you've got hundreds of friends that in reality no one is there. And think what's happened with Liam, whatever those circumstances are, is yet another reminder to remember you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Social media will give a certain picture. And I had it recently where I was going through something challenging, and it will appear like on the surface everything's hunky-dory, and that I was living my best life, and I was doing all of these things. And actually what was going on was completely different. Somebody actually had made an assumption about me as a result of what they had seen on social media. And often it's not what it seems. So right now is really a time, particularly when we start going into the winter months, people, when the sunshine is out, people are generally appear on the surface much happier, because the sun brings it out of us. The sun makes us happier. But as we get into the winter months and it gets cold and the actual weather, affects our moods, I know it affects my mood, be aware of how you're talking to people. Be aware of actually checking in with people. Are they okay? Check in with the people that you care about. Leading up to Christmas, for many people, Christmas is a tough time, whether that's due to loss, whether that is due to financial restraints, whether that's due to loneliness. A lot of people will be struggling coming into the winter months and after Christmas and during Christmas. So be there for the people that you care about. Reach out, check in with people. I have been very fortunate that I have come out the other side. I don't get wrong, there are still some days where I struggle, but I am blessed in the fact that I have used certain tools to pull me out the other side. Those tools I actually use in my business now to help others. And if you are at a point, particularly in your business right now, your mental health you can know is crashing and you need help, then please do reach out to me, because a big part of what I do is being able to reignite that fire back in you and giving you the tools to keep moving forward. Or if you have decided you've had enough of the business and it's pulling you down too much, I can then also help you in that way too. So I hope you have found some real benefit from today. I think it's a real point of reflection right now, given what has recently happened with Liam Payne. And just remember, always be kind. You never know what others are going through. And I think that's really the key message that I wanted to share with you today. So thank you guys for listening, and I will see you again next week.